Friends, let's take a look at Tezos. We'll try and keep things a bit quicker today. Say it all the time, but well, we'll just see how it pans out. Right, so zooming on into the price action, what have we got on the go here? This is the weekly chart I just started off with, and you can just to say, look, this was a higher high in the weekly, and they've got higher lows on the weekly. This is all basically consolidation as part of a potential upward over trend. It's either an upward trend, which it is by just a fraction of by a couple hundred satoshis or whatever, and that's good to see. It could also be kind of slightly consolidatory, and it all adds up to more or less the same thing, that we need to look towards these areas for higher highs in the weekly. Going down to 24-hour time frame, it's the same sort of story, but we can introduce again the sort of the cup with handle idea, and we're coming back up towards the top or upper side here, and that's good to see happen. But there's a lot of roadblocks along the way. First off, though, we're above that 3,000 area we've spoken about so often as being crucial for us. You can see that actually right now we're putting in the highs of the day right now as we speak, so that's kind of cool. Let's see where those are coming in at just for now, and just going down. Well, in 24-hour time frame, this is perfect. You can see that the 50% retrace on this Fibonacci that we've broken above and above the 236 over here is coming in at 3,191, but 3,109, so just a further 19 satoshis up from where we are now, is the 50% retrace on this downward price action here that we had for this downward movement, which we saw turn around at the 886. So overall, I'd like to see us breaking back above that 50% retrace area. That'd be very, very good for us for the Tezos prices, and perhaps that'll do for this overall. We could see things, of course, turn around here as far putting in a higher high. I'd like to see that happen at 2,900, but again, we have to be realistic about things and say that anything at this current point here higher than 2,800 will constitute a higher low, and we could be doing all of this without any divergence on the daily time frame should things keep going along as they're going just now. Coming into this overbought area here in the RS, on the stochastics, could see something happening there in terms of this in and around these areas. How about our own 50% retrace, from this current move towards the top side there as being a target to look to at 3,190, where we have this big node on the VPVR. That seems like a reasonable way to end that particular section of the video today. Looking at this, of course, if had this continue towards the downside, this is the dollar prices. Thanks for sticking with me. Had it broken past the 21 EMA on the daily time frame and gone down, we would have been hoping to have had the 55 EMA, the 50 simple, or at least just this previous low come in and sort of be the area for a turnaround at. So far, it's not needed any of it, and we looks to have actually put in a slightly higher low. If you consider this to be the previous low, that's a bit rich, but if you consider this to be the previous low, it certainly has. But that would there can constitute this as being a local high. It's hard to say whether or not that's actually a local high at the minute, because we're coming in here and equaling that high. What you need to see happen here is the prices to go up above, and at $2.91, you're still sitting in a sort of lower high than over here. That's not what we want to see happen, because that just continues this overall descending, broadening wedge potential, generally speaking. So anything, or even just in general sort of broadening wedge like that. So you want to see the prices come up to that $3 area and then going up above, and that's what we need to want to see happen for this to be, for us to get some more success at this thing. 292, great, as a first target, still ultimately remains a little bit too low for my liking, but we'll see how things go overall. It's okay as part of this overall upward movement that we've had since the 11th of May. Let's just see if we can keep that trend going overall or not. And going between the exchanges, you can see that we've actually now got a very big gap between the HIP BTC and the other exchanges, and this happens quite a few times now. The background to this could easily be that this is manipulated, or it's a scam, and all these other sorts of things in terms of the HIP BTC exchange, and whether they've not got the liquidity to provide people, blah 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 blah. There is opportunity, of course, for people who are willing to sort of risk things to go in and purchase the Tezos on the HIP BTC exchange, although you might not be able to withdraw them, and you may then end up having to sort of cash out should the arbitrage opportunity exist. So there is an arbitrage opportunity. I just want to reiterate that. Obviously, it works from the other way around, not from the sort of you as an intermediary and supplying your one account, but you, if you operate with a float on the two different accounts. Okay, it's a different way of doing things. It's actually the more common way of doing things is having it with floats. A float is what, if you're a waiter at a bar, for instance, or whatever, and you go over and you've got 20 quid there, then somebody orders food, you can give the 20 quid to and that's a float type thing. Or whatever. There's various, doesn't matter. doesn't matter. Going off in a rabbit hole doesn't matter. The point being here, if we see the prices move above the 260 area, I wouldn't be too surprised to see them sort of amortize with this towards the upside. Mind you, if they stay below the 260 area, then maybe we will get one of these lower highs on the go in here. We have this area for resistance at the top side. We'll look towards that coming back in the future. We have this area of support towards the downside here if we need to. It's $2.38, currently consolidating. I don't think that this is necessarily the keys to the overall long-term success of it, but it might be an analog of what kind of goes on in the discussions behind the scenes between the people in charge of Coinbase, people in charge of BTC. If they're scamming people, that might be what they would do. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you in the next episode.